Hello, Scripturants! It is Caitlin Costello, and I am here today with a big announcement. So, I'm actually at school right now. I'm a math teacher today, which is going so well, as you can guess. So, this is probably the only time I'm going to be able to film this week, so I figured I would do it now. And we're just going to hope that no other teacher walks in. So, if you're following me on Instagram and Twitter, you will have seen that this week I made the decision to go through something that I've been thinking about for a while. I get these urges every so often to create something and work on something. And normally when I get these urges, if they last long enough, I will do it. That's how my YouTube channel came about. That's how the Scripturient 101 blog came about. So it's something I believe in, these urges. It's also how most of my stories came about, is if I've thought about it for long enough and it's developed in my head, then I'll go for it. That being said, the project that I want to embark on is one that I need all of you for, specifically my writing friends. So one thing that I feel fairly confident in my ability for is structure or developmental edits. A developmental edit is the edit that most of us do once we finish the draft, when we're reading through and we're looking for our character arcs and our character development and the overall structure of the plot, any plot holes, things like that. While it's useful to do it for yourself because you know the things that you want to be said, sometimes it's also really nice to have an external person read it and look over it, because they won't have any of those obligations and knowledge that you will have, and they will make sure that nothing slips through the cracks. A developmental editor is not a line editor. It's not a copy editor. They're not someone that's going to look at your piece for grammar. They might look at it briefly for grammar, but they're mainly going to look at the actual structure and the story itself. That being said, I think the developmental edit is almost more important than the copy edit, because you can have a paper or a book that is crystal clear. There is not a single comma out of place, not a single semicolon that's used in the wrong way, but if you have a gaping plot hole or characters that make no sense and their motivations are pointless, I'm not going to want to read it, even if it is pristine. A developmental editor is going to help you figure out this chapter isn't doing anything to help your story, and that is so important. It's something that a lot of us don't focus on entirely, and that's why I want to help out. So I am opening up services as a developmental editor. And hello again. So as you can see, I'm back home. Right at the end of that clip where I started talking about the actual services, the teacher walked in, so the thing that I didn't want to happen did. Awkward. So I am going to have 4 services, 5 in the future. I have to figure out a little bit more about the 5th one, but I will talk about it. So, the 4 services that will be offered right away are the first chapter edit, which is a edit and review of the first chapter of your book up to 15 double-spaced pages, or is it 20? I'll have to verify that. You'll see in the picture. And this will have basic line edits and the overall feel of the chapter, whether I was pulled in, how I think the rest of the story would go, the themes that I see, things like that. Anything that would be pertinent to that first chapter. And anything that you directly ask for, if it is a possible thing. The second offer will be a edit of the first 50 pages of your manuscript, double-spaced, Times New Roman, like basic formatting. And this is an in-depth edit similar to the chapter edit of the first 50 pages, with the reviews and feedback and comments in line and things like that. And the first one is $30. The second one, the first 50 pages, is $50. I think that's what I said. The third thing that I'm offering is a two-part, sort of. It's the next header, or section, I guess. I will be offering a full manuscript review where I read your story and I give you a reader's review / letter of the manuscript, of the strengths and weaknesses, and an overview of the plot and subplots and how I think the characters are developing. That sort of thing. And that will be by the word, as well as the second option, which is a full draft edit of in-text line edits, not copy edits, but line edits about the plot and structure, the character view, everything that I said in the first one, just bumped up with those line edits and more in-depth thought. Each of these will have the strengths and weaknesses and a section where we can talk about where it could be improved and some suggestions, and then we can have an open dialogue of how to make those suggestions into your story. My way of editing is a very open, communicative process. Think of it like a one-on-one workshop, like a crit partner, except you do have to pay. And so I want to be very open and honest, and a setting where we both can learn, not just you. So it might be something where it's not a situation that I've ever dealt with, but if it's something you know about, and if I ask you about it, feel free, tell me about it. I would love to learn from it. Sorry, I was gonna sit up, but my arms are getting tired. So things that I'll take, obviously I don't know if it's obviously, but manuscripts, so I'll take a look at poetry, but I might not be your best choice. I'm not great with poetry. It needs to be super direct and clear for me to really understand the meaning that you might be trying to get, or to really help. Wouldn't really, I will look at it, but I don't really read it myself, so I can't really give much feedback on erotica or literary fiction. I'm not great at those. But pretty much anything else is open. I would definitely say that it would be best with genre fiction, sci-fi, steampunk, fantasy, that sort of thing. But if you have another project that you would like to bring, please send me a message and we can try to work it out. So, yeah, I'm hoping this will be a really fun adventure for me and my bookworms to go on, and the submission process of me taking applicants is starting today, February 9th, and I will begin the process of editing, should I receive applicants, March 1st. So if you have a project where you have a faster deadline, we can talk, but I do have a fairly packed month for the rest of the month, but we can talk about it if it's something that you need right away. If you're doing a longer edit, say the 50-page or the full manuscript edit, I will definitely be willing to do a sample edit to see if our styles would click. Can't remember if I had any more bullet points. I think that's everything. If you have any questions, you can send me an email at thescripturient101@gmail.com. You can send me a message on Twitter at Scripturenting, or you can fill out the contact sheet on the blog post or the blog page where all the information is. The fifth option, which I didn't really mention because it's not on the page yet, is possibly in the future doing outlining help and talking about how to build up the outline on any notes you have, and like building it to something that can help you get started, but I need to put more time into researching market value and things like that I could offer with it. But I think that's everything. As always, the links will all be down below. I'm really excited for this. I hope you are. I definitely will be posting periodically when I have openings or anything like that. yeah, I think it'll be fun. It'll be a way for us all to learn and grow as better writers or readers. Like, if you have anything that you're like, I've never really had anyone look at it, I'm just a random person on the internet, I would be more than willing to help you out. So, yeah. I think I'm gonna go. I have to get ready to go to work, the other job. So, I hope you're all having a fantastic Friday, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!